that's what's really impressed me. And I think not only that, is that, having the Champions League game that they've had to step up and also focus on. So, the thing is with Arsenal is that they find themselves in the Champions League final. They've had a big game against Atletico Madrid where they've been successful. And that's where I think, the likes of Manchester City, I know they've got the FA Cup the weekend, but, they've come into this in great form at this back end of the season. And that's why you have to highlight how good Arsenal have really stepped up in these 3 games that you would quite easily say there are some potential banana skins there. The West Ham one, for instance, that was so close. But they've just found a way all season of at times grinding results out. And obviously, that I just feel the confidence and the aura about them at this moment in time. I just don't see a way past them now at this crucial time.
Yeah, they've almost got there, haven't they? Obviously, they do have concerns at right back, though. Ben White will miss the end of the season. Obviously, he's picked up this knee injury. So let's see how far away Julian Timber is from returning.
There is a chance, but how big that chance is, I cannot tell you. Being completely honest, he's gonna try to do everything he can to convert that chance as high as possible in the shortest possible period, and that's the challenge ahead. He's progressed a little bit in the last few days. He's feeling better. We're gonna try to get him fit and available as quick as possible, but let's see. Obviously, he's been out now for a while, unfortunately. He's such an important player for us. We all know that, and he's doing everything that he possibly can to help the team in any capacity. And we know his leadership, his quality, and how
much the team needs him potentially back for the Champions League final. Then, how highly do you rate him?
Oh, fantastic player, fantastic. There's no doubt of that. I just think that having him back, I mean, it'll be a massive relief to Mikel Arteta and Arsenal because of what he brings to the side. I think defensively, he can do his job when he's in that back line, but he can also get forward and he can also be a major problem. I've been impressed with the signing of bringing him in, and I know he's been a little bit stop-start for him since coming into the club, but when he's fit, he's definitely he's first on the team sheet, and that's why Ben White's really struggled to find a formula of getting himself into that right back spot. But super player, and I'm sure that they'll want him fit for that big occasion.
And in terms of the squad, everyone talked about their strength in depth this season. Is that what you've witnessed? That's what's been good about Arsenal.
I have. I felt that you look all over the pitch, and I've said this many a time this season. This is why I felt that they had the squad strength, they had the squad depth to really go and win a treble. And it was all also looking like it was going to happen, to be quite honest. The defeat at Southampton was a disappointment. But I just think that, you look all across the pitch, they've got really like-for-like players that they can utilise. Gyökeres, I mean, he's come under a lot of criticism over the season, but you look at what goals he's contributed this season, it's a lot of goals he's scored. His first season, I think he's had a great season. His work ethic and the style that Arsenal play, lots of the times they've depended on Saka, they've depended on Martinelli. Trossard, I mean, he's stepped up. There's been so many players that have bought into what Mikel Arteta's brought to the football club, as in squad depth, because you can bring too many players in and you lose some of your players, whereas it just seems like everyone has stepped up to the plate for Mikel Arteta, and you have to give him credit. I thought that, for me, over seasons going forward, this potentially could be an Arsenal winning side that could go on and really be amongst domination if they continue to do what they're doing, because I feel that he's just built something there. He's added squad depth. And all of a sudden you're looking around now, and obviously Manchester City did it time and time again. The likes of Liverpool, I just feel like they're just edging away from them at the moment. And if he can get it right and win trophies this season, listen, I think that they've got every chance of going again because of what they've got. The potential they've got in that squad is absolutely magnificent. They could have two teams that could play in the Premier League. That's how much strength they've got in that squad. And
they've got it in an integral part, which is in goal at the moment. How important has David Raya been for them this season?
Magnificent. I mean, you think when he was brought into the football club and there was all questions over, Ramsdale and how well he's done, and And then you bring in David Raya, and you think to yourself, I mean, going back to that, where there was a lot of question marks around that because of how Ramsdale did. But I mean, looking at it now, it's an absolute masterstroke because of the way that Mikel Arteta likes to play. He's almost like a centre half to a certain extent because he can play with his feet, and his save ratio is absolutely fantastic. I mean, the save he made against West Ham was outstanding, I must say, and sometimes that gets overshadowed, doesn't it, because of Arsenal being our fantastic goalkeeper that Mikel's witnessed. The recruitment's been good because they've realised that he fits the bill of how they want to play, the style they want to play. The long-term longevity that Mikel Arteta stamped on this club to take them forward is why I see the success if they can bring the right personnel in. Not that they need an awful lot now, but you know, they might add to what they've got. They might get rid of a few that might just tweak the odd situation that might make them stronger. And that's where I think you know, the building platform that they've had to do so. It's took a little bit of time, but I feel that Arsenal are just starting to get there, and I feel winning a trophy is going to be massive for them. That might just blossom this Arsenal squad and team to go and be a real success.
The good thing is they're very attractive, aren't they, at the moment? For any player out there that's thinking, hang on a minute, I want a piece of that. So, if you could strengthen anywhere in that first 11, is there somewhere you think actually there and actually this player? Yeah,
it's a real difficult one to sort of say, you know, identify an area where that you'd probably say that they're weak, really. And that's just because, you know, they've been so good, solid defensively. We touched on David Raya being fantastic, you know, between the posts. The midfield area strength, you know, Declan Rice, Mendy. I mean, the list goes on where you could just chop and change things there. And then you've got the likes of Havertz, who's come back from injury, who did brilliant last season. You know, brought Gyökeres in. I mean, do you look at that and say, well, could they bring someone like for Gyökeres? But
was it Julian Alvarez, wasn't there?
Yeah, and that's where I think that's why, you know, Mikel, he kind of looks at times where he uses Gyökeres as that out-and-out, you know, sort of focal point for him. But at times they can play with that false nine, if you like, because they've got so much quality all around. And I mean, I look at Saka this season, and you know, his numbers have been outstanding, goals and assists, and I don't feel like he's quite been at it this season. So, you know, you start to get him back up to scratch. I'm not saying he's had a bad season by any stretch, but, you know, he's had his injuries that he's had to contend with. But I just think that I don't think a lot needs disturbing and disrupting at the moment. I feel that they've got that nice blend. I think now it needs success, it needs silverware, and I think silverware comes, confidence comes, and then all of a sudden, you know, you might just tweak an area where you feel that they might just need. Well, at the moment, I don't think they do. I think defensively they're very good, and they score goals. I think all they need to do now is probably, for me, is that they've probably won games like 1-0, but they've kind of known how to sort of dig deep in games where the top teams have to do so. Sometimes it's not always pretty and you don't dominate the football. And I think that's where they're just finding that blend. But I do feel that it's just getting over the line at the moment. I really do. I felt that the Carabao Cup would have been massive for them to get that first bit of silverware that might have just given that kick on to go, right, we're Arsenal, this is us, this is what we're going to do. We're going to dominate a lot of these trophies that we're fighting for. So that's where I see Arsenal this season in particular. They've done brilliant with all the players that they brought in, utilised the squad. I just think it's all about silverware success that's going to give the fans, it's going to give the players, it's going to give all the staff so much confidence going into next season.
Arguably, they have been one of the, if not the best team we've witnessed in Europe. Certainly, they won the phase, didn't they? The league phase. They're in the final. They've kept in step with Manchester City. They're top of the Premier League. Where do they rank for you in Europe at the moment? Are they top at the moment? Are they ahead of this one? Are they ahead of PSG? Where do they rank? Yeah,
it's really difficult. I mean, it's difficult in the sense that you know, you've just alluded to where and what they did in Europe on them build-up stage and league stages. It's phenomenal. That they went away and got results and did it in style, might I add to that. I think, to be quite honest, I think this is going to be their biggest test against PSG. I think they probably had the easier side of the sort of group rankings going into the final, and probably the best passageway, I'd say, by a long stretch. That's what made me think that they've got every chance of getting to the final. The PSG game's going to be the one, but everybody's saying PSG or this, PSG or that. PSG a good side. There's no doubt. You know, last season I've seen them, you know, absolutely perform to a standard that I've not seen a European club play like and play with a real intensity. I think it'll be really different, and this is where I'm sort of against some of these people that are saying PSG will wipe the floor with Arsenal. I don't think it's going to be like that.
They've been beaten this season.
Yeah,
Been proved. Yeah,
exactly. And I think the way that, as I said, the way that Arteta sets up, I think he is a manager and a coach that will certainly disturb and disrupt PSG. They will not have it their own way. This won't be a walk in the park for them, what people are thinking, because of the way they've at times defended and managed games where they can counter-attack teams. And I think that will suit Arsenal better than PSG. Listen, PSG are a fabulous team. And yes, they're probably favourites to go and win the Champions League. But I think if I was to throw a team against them at this moment in time, it'd be Arsenal, because I feel that they've got the capabilities of defending, and I know that they've got a fierce sort of front area where they could certainly score goals against PSG, because they are very, very sort of vulnerable at the back, PSG, and that's where I think it might just suit Mikel Arteta. So that question that you're going with, I'm going round the circle a little bit, but I do feel it probably would depend on these two. I'd put the two that are in the final for me up there on a certain par, but PSG are probably a prettier watch, I would say, so in comparison to Arsenal.
Okay, just finally, they win this Premier League for you. You're kind of nodding towards that, you think?
Yeah, I think so now, yeah. I think so. I think the game's coming up. I did change my mind a few weeks ago, but I think everybody did. But I just think that, with the games they've got coming up, I think at home to Burnley is a must. And I think that's where they'll blow Burnley away. And then I think Palace will have their eye on the Europa Conference League, because I think that's where they're at the moment. They can't go up and they can't go down.
No, I would agree with that. Okay, you can see Arsenal's...
Yeah, do you see the similarities